All right, let's talk about something that sounds a little bit like a fantasy. We're going to walk through how you can take a small, one-time investment and build it into a $60,000 a year income stream. I know, it sounds wild, but by the end of this, you're going to see the exact step-by-step path to make it happen. Let's get into it. So that's the big question, right? How on earth can $1,000 turn into a full-time income? I get it. It sounds totally impossible, but that's exactly what we're going to break down in this explainer. And you know what the best part is? The strategy to get there is probably way simpler than you think. For a lot of people, the dream number for financial freedom is about $5,000 a month. That's a solid, livable income. But the most common advice you hear for how to get there, well, it comes with a pretty massive catch. We've all heard it a million times. Just buy an S&P 500 index fund. And look, it's not bad advice. You're basically buying a tiny slice of the 500 biggest companies in the US. It's a fantastic way to grow your money long term. But, and this is a huge but, if your goal is to live off the income from your investments, this standard advice creates a giant roadblock. Yeah, $4.7 million. That is not a typo. To get $5,000 a month in dividends from a standard S&P 500 fund, you would need almost $5 million socked away. For most of us, that's not a roadblock. It's a brick wall. So what gives? Why is that number so insanely high? Okay, so here's the deal. S&P 500 funds are designed for one thing, to make your investment grow in value. They are not designed to pay you a lot of cash along the way. The cash they do pay out, those are the dividends, is super low. That tiny 1.27% yield means you need an absolute mountain of money just to get a trickle of income. Look, chasing a multi-million-dollar portfolio can feel completely overwhelming, just stressful. But what if there's a better way, a more strategic path that doesn't require you to be a stock-picking genius or a real estate tycoon? Let's talk about a smarter way to build wealth. Think about the typical high-stress ways people try to get rich, right? Trying to pick individual stocks, which can totally tank overnight, the absolute headache of being a landlord, or the pure gamble of crypto. Now, compare that with the smarter path. Simple, low-cost index funds that are diversified, automatic, and reliable. And speaking of crypto, this analogy just nails it. It's a roller coaster with no seatbelt. One tweet can send it soaring or crashing. Look, we're not looking for a thrill ride. We're trying to build a reliable income engine that works for us, not against us. And that's the real beauty of this whole approach. It's not sexy. It's kind of boring, actually. And that's the whole point. It's a reliable, drama-free strategy that lets time and compounding do all the heavy lifting for you, building that steady, growing income stream while you're literally sleeping. Okay, so how do we actually pull this off without needing millions of dollars? It all comes down to a different way of thinking about investing. Instead of just looking at the dividend you get today, we're going to focus on what's called the total return. This right here, this is the secret sauce. Total return is the whole shebang. It's not just the cash you get paid today, that's your dividend yield. It's also about how much that cash payout grows year after year. And on top of all that, it's about the actual value of your investment going up too. It's a three-part engine for building real wealth. So our strategy really rests on these three pillars, and they all have to work together. First, you need a decent starting yield to get some income flowing right away. Second, and this is the big one, you have to prioritize strong dividend growth because that's what makes your income snowball. And third, you need the share price to go up to grow your overall wealth in the background. Okay, enough theory. Let's make this real. We've put together a sample portfolio using 5 specific Fidelity Index Funds. Now, each one was chosen for a very specific reason. It excels in those 3 key areas we just talked about. Together, they create a really powerful, diversified income machine. So here's what it looks like. Now, don't get bogged down in the ticker symbols. Just focus on the job each fund does. You've got a fund like FSMDX, which is our income powerhouse. It's got a high starting payout and incredible dividend growth. But to balance that, you need stability. So you have funds like FNILX that focus on huge, stable companies to provide that steady growth. Each fund is a piece of the puzzle, balancing today's income, tomorrow's income, and overall growth. And when we blend these funds together, you see the real power. The starting yield, yeah, it's pretty close to the S&P 500, but the absolute game changer is the dividend growth, nearly 20% per year. That is the accelerator. That's the engine that turns a tiny trickle of income into a raging river over time. All right, this is the moment of truth. Let's plug in the numbers. Let's see how this exact portfolio can take a very small, very accessible starting amount and turn it into that dream income. And we're going to keep this scenario incredibly realistic. A one-time investment of $1,000. Then you just add $1 a day. That's it, about $30 a month. This isn't about having a huge salary to invest. It's all about the power of consistency. Now, watch how this unfolds. After 10 years, you're at over $9,000. Pretty good. By year 20, the growth really starts to pick up steam. But the real magic? It happens between year 20 and year 30. Your portfolio value jumps by almost $400,000. That is compounding kicking into high gear. And here it is, the final result. After 30 years, this portfolio, the one that started with just $1,000 and $1 a day, is projected to generate over $6,600 a month in dividend income. That's over $79,000 a year. We didn't just meet our goal, we smashed right through it. And hey, if 30 years feels a little too long, I got it. This model is totally flexible. If you can start with a larger amount, say 20 grand, and contribute more regularly, like $20 a day, you can chop a full decade off the timeline and hit that same income goal in just 20 years. Ultimately, this isn't about some impossible financial magic trick. It's about having the right plan, being consistent, and letting a well-built income engine do all the hard work for you. So the real question this leaves us with is, what could your journey look like if you start today?